The Washington Redskins now beginning a, quote, thorough review of the NFL team's name after corporate sponsors, including FedEx and PepsiCo, are calling for a change. Target and Walmart now also pulling merchandise from online stores. Cheryl Casoni joins us now with more details. Cheryl.
Yeah, Charles, and Target and Walmart, just the latest names that are urging the Washington Redskins and their owner, Dan Snyder, to reconsider changing the name of the team as a gesture of respect to the Native American community. But the idea that Native American themes like mascots are disrespectful is not new. In fact, Stanford University dropped the name Indians back in 1972. Whether it is names, traditions, logos, or mascots, as of Friday, the NFL team said it is conducting a review to change their long criticized name. Likely that's going to happen before the start of the 2020 season. And just hours after the football proverbial cleat dropped, baseball's Cleveland Indians said that they were also considering a name change there. A year after they retired their mascot, Chief Wahoo, remember, which many saw as a racist caricature of a Native American. And remember the Golden State Warriors? They were the they were Philadelphia Warriors, San Francisco Warriors. They once had a logo that was a stereotype of Native Americans. I mean, the list goes on, but a lot of teams have made changes. What has changed today is not society asking for that change, but large-scale corporations. In the wake of major football sponsors like PepsiCo speaking up, Washington owner Dan Snyder, who had previously said he would never change the name of the team, seems to have had a change of heart. He said in a statement the process is going to allow the team to basically take into account not only the proud tradition and history of the franchise, but also input from alumni, sponsors, and the NFL. And even Roger Goodell is wading into the debate. He said the NFL is supportive of this important step for the Redskins. And Goodell a lot of times has not waded into these issues. Questions are still out there. I'd send it back to you, Charles. The Kansas City Chiefs, the Atlanta Braves, hockey has a team called the Blackhawks in Chicago. The list goes on and on. Is this the beginning of something? And what happens to all those high school football teams, for instance? What do they do? It's a large topic.
Yeah. It really is. It's interesting. I just checked out Stanford University because while it might have been admirable that they dropped the mascot, last year they took in 0.36 Native Americans who wanted to go to the school. So that's another area that might be able to help the Native Americans even more than the mascot. Hey, thanks a lot. For more on this, I want to bring a former NFL player, current Utah congressional candidate Burgess Owens. And Burgess, first of all, you won your Republican primary. You've got a shot at a House seat. What does it mean for you? What is the message here? Because, you've been a hard critic of political correctness, and you have predicted things in the last several years since I've known you, got to know you, your warnings, if you will, about what's going to happen in America are happening. But just this moment in time for you in our country.
Charles, first of all, so good talking with you again, my friend. I think personally, Charles, this is a great moment for us because I have so much faith in American people. We happen to do the right things at the right time for the right reasons. We have a history of it. And what's happening now is that the things we've been talking about in the past with socialism and Marxism, hypothetically, what happens when the leftists actually begin to take over and we see tyranny. We've been talking about that for a long time. We now have a chance to see over the last few months how that looks, how it feels. We have a lot of good people out there on all sides of the aisle, Republicans, Democrats, and independents that have been hurting based on a lot of things that's happening from Democratic mayors and governors. So at the end of the day, I think we can start having a conversation about what do we really want for our country to look like. Do we want to hold on to our culture, to have faith and dreams in the future, or do we want to go to the side that we're now seeing now with just a lot of anger and destruction and political correctness? We need to get back from that. I think we will do that over this period of time.
Well, Burgess, our country has also evolved, though, right, from the very beginning. And I think that evolution essentially moves us closer to a quote unquote a more perfect union. Yeah. And that brings us to the topic of the day, right? The Redskins and all these other teams undergoing a review of their name. I know you've been critical of the NFL's plan, for instance, to play the Black national anthem and also a lot of the kneeling that's going on in sports. Is this moving in the wrong direction for you?
Well, let's remember what we, the people, have always done. We fought very, very hard to be a united country. And I'll be honest with you, 10, 15 years ago, I think we were a lot closer in terms of getting to the point where we're looking at each other inside out versus outside and doing well right now. So just think about what this does. And first of all, I grew up, it's a beautiful hymn, by the way. I grew up with that. It was a time of separate but equal, and our race was very, very proud of what we're doing. The song itself talks about God, talks about our country, but you have 75% of black kids in California who will never ever read that because they don't understand those words. But here we're coming out of this. We have something like that. Are whites expected to stand for the black national anthem? Are blacks now expected to stand for our national anthem? We're talking about division. Our country is all about assimilating, coming together under one symbol of our great country, and that's what our flag stands for. Cannot lose that. Cannot let the leftists, progressives, get us away from that concept.
Right. And Lift Every Heart and Sing was written Booker T. Washington, Black Excellence, 1900. It was certainly needed, and to your point, it's a fantastic song. But adding all these national anthems could become a problem. Real quick, I've got less than a minute, but I do have to get your take on reparations. The New York Times Magazine out with a piece that it's called What Is Owed. And now we're hearing it more and more. I'm hearing it on television. I'm hearing it in Democratic circles. I think this is going to be a major issue at the Democratic convention. It could be an issue going into the election. What should happen with reparations for slavery? Well,
first of all, it's not going to happen. It's always a good talking point by the limbs. Let me ask the Democrats this: there are 30 million slaves around the country, around the world today. There's 10 million 10 million children that have been enslaved for slave labor, for organ donors. We have a way right now to fight slavery if you want to stand up and make that happen. Let's not talk about what happened 200 years. If you really care, let's talk about those people around the world today that are caught in slavery, that are coming across our borders, put into slavery in today's society, and let's do something about it.
Right.
If you want to do it, let's go for it. Let's make it happen. Let's talk for 200 years ago. It doesn't matter 200 years ago. It happens. What happens right now does matter.
Burgess, congratulations once again. Hopefully we'll be talking to you soon, and maybe next time as a congressman.